This year sees the 26th staging of the magnificent King's Cup Regatta. The magnificent sight of this huge flotilla of yachts with sailors from all around the world is a wonderful testament to the great success of this event. But of course it didn't start out this way, and it wasn't always quite like this. Of course, in 1987, Phuket had all the charms of a tropical island, but there was hardly a sail in sight. And it was Momtree Devakul, himself a member of the Thai royal family, who, after he built the Royal Phuket Yacht Club on Nai Han Bay, was one of the founder members that got the whole thing going.
It just happened that Momtree thought about, hey, you know what? Next year is His Majesty the King 60th birthday. That means he's doing to the Thai custom. You mean fifth cycle?
Yeah.
And I think it would be a great way to celebrate his birthday.
Yeah.
So at that time, I believe the way they talk about it's just one-time thing.
Right. Oh, okay. They were going to do it once, and that was it.
Yeah. That's what you're doing for His Majesty the King, and have a yacht race and get a bunch of guys who love sailing and come and sail together and have a party, a good time. It'll be great. So we kick off. Momtree has written a letter to the palace, asked His Majesty the King for his permission, and he's the one who designed the trophy that you saw with 9 sail on it.
Yes.
And that's
beautiful
why
trophy,
beautiful trophy. That was designed by Momtree himself.
I'm here with Peter Cummins, who's something of a national treasure, I would say, in Thailand. I think Peter's been in Thailand since 1972, and in fact your sailing career even started with the King of Thailand, didn't it?
Basically, Barry, yes. Yeah, basically.
You sailed with him when?
Around about 84, 85, when the King used to sail every weekend at the Klai Kangwal Palace.
Yes.
Where there's a huge fleet of OK dinghies.
Right.
The uninitiated, that's something like a laser.
Like a laser, yeah.
But the uninitiated, again, that's a small dinghy.
Yeah, right, yes, yeah. You were involved in the starting of the King's Cup?
As publicity officer, yes.
Yes.
But I was not a founding member.
Did you sail in the first King's Cup?
Yes.
Yeah. And how did you do? Can you remember? It's a while ago.
I think I won because there were only 2 in the class.
Right. How many boats that year? Any idea? Do you remember?
Oh, really eclectic lot. Probably 35 or 40 guys who are sailing the world, on liverboards, and a few people from Pattaya and Jomtien came down. It was a real mixed bag of catamarans, dinghies, and keelboats.
Yes. When did you stop sailing?
After the first year.
Oh right.
I was too old.
You've been to a lot of the parties as well?
I never missed one. That's Harry.
Never missed them. I know, we haven't got that much longer to go, right? So. Of course, the first King's Cup were not staged here on Carter Beach, but on Nai Han Beach to the south of here. And they were very much a pioneering effort. There was no infrastructure, for example, to support a regatta of any sort at all.
There was no infrastructure, you would, actually Club Med is, I was based at Club Med, and I was both organizing the laser events and racing in it as well. Yeah. And the parties and main events were on Nai Han at the Phuket Yacht Club hotel at that time. And you'd have to get on your motorbike and drive over the hill, on a dirt road to participate in the parties and the different ceremonies. And it was fairly pioneering in terms of getting yachts in the water, getting availability of let's say services and support here. Very limited. You'd go to hardware shops in town who specialized in marine gear and marine equipment to help you out. My wife now, at that time, she in the second year, I guess she was down here with a small keelboat. Had to find a crane at Phuket Port to lift it into the water and get it going. So and rig it up there. So it's come a long way. Phuket's come a long way from a boating scene.
what happens out on the water is only a small part of what happens at the King's Cup, because the other side of the King's Cup is not about sailing, it's about parties.
I think my first King's Cup was maybe in 1990, as my that time boyfriend was a sailor, so I got into crewing on boats with friends and just having a good time. The people that participated, they were my friends,
Yes.
or they became my friends, because
Yes.
the King's Cup was quite small, so you got to know everyone very quickly. And the next year you would see each other again.
Right.
So over the years you would see the same faces once a year during the King's Cup. So
Yes.
it was just a lot of camaraderie
Yes.
amongst the sailing community.
And you've also had involvement in the social side as well. I mean, you've been involved
Yes.
in Boathouse, for example.
Yes, I was working at the boathouse. So the boathouse, Montree was one of the founders of the regatta, one of the co-founders, I should say. And when the event moved back to Qatar, Montree said, let's do a party at least once here at the boathouse. And
Yes.
they like to do the party on His Majesty the King's birthday,
Sure.
on the 5th of December, with a candlelight ceremony and everything. And it was always very beautiful to be right on the beach with listening to the national anthem
Yes.
and songs for the King. It was
Yes,
great.
it's a very charming ceremony.
Absolutely.
The King's Cup has been famous both for onshore as well as on water, and that's the idea. We want people to come here, have fun, not get too stressed, you know, not be in the protest room till late at night, even though that does happen amongst the serious racers, and you know, people are serious about competing. But the, you know, the parties, beach parties, go on late in the evenings, and you know, what a better venue than to be barefoot on a sandy beach in
Absolutely.
in you know, in Phuket after a day's sailing on the water.
Well, I'm here with Wikki who's very well known to many people associated with the King's Cup. She's on the current organising committee, and I think you've been involved from the very early days as well.
As a sailor or as a kid following, my dad's footsteps.
Yeah. Your dad sailed in 1987, right?
Right. The very first one. We got a boat from Singapore.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how did you do?
I think we did very well because there's not many boats then.
Yeah, right. It's strange, isn't it, that sailing and drinking seem to go together?
Well, don't go there.
you don't want to go there.
No, they do drink a lot, and we go through, believe it or not, 3,000 liters of beer.
I can kind of believe it, really, having been to some of the parties.
No, and a lot of wine. So
Yes, yeah.
So.
And parties, of course, is the other side of the coin, isn't it? I mean, it's
Right.
not just what happens on the water; it's what happens back on the beach.
I think that's the fun part about the King's Cup. That's what makes the King's Cup. I mean, there's no other regatta that have this many free parties.
Yes. And having grown up with it, you must have made some fantastic friendships through this.
Right. I mean, you get to know a lot of sailors around the Asia circuits,
Yeah.
really, and through that, sailing is you kind of make the friend that is with you forever, because no one ever stops sailing until the day they die.
So there it is. After its humble beginnings 25 years ago, the King's Cup has now become a fabulous event, supported by people from all over the world in the wonderful racing on the water and the fabulous parties on the beaches afterwards. And of course, most importantly of all, it's a wonderful tribute to the King of Thailand on his 85th birthday and the love of a nation for their wonderful monarch.
Are you having problems with hot weather? The globe's heating up. Fans aren't cool enough. It's too warm inside your house. Chu2i Trading's your solution. We provide cooling systems with high standard installation techniques by qualified engineers. Cool your house by calling 086 470 2026.
VB Quality Phuket sells vinyl windows and doors construction and decoration equipments under the Windsor brand. We have your solutions for vinyl products in Phuket. Visit vbqualityphuket.com to start building your home today.
Learning to ride can be a fun and thrilling experience for all the family. Cooling Horse House offers full horse riding training courses at our beautifully appointed and peaceful stables, set amid the natural tropical environment of Phuket, with great accommodation and fantastic facilities. Trek along tracks rarely traveled as you learn to become one with your horse. Call 081-938-3151 or visit coolinghorsehouse.com.